Learning how to listen and to be silent is barely ever talked about or taught, especially as a Christian. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and that reason was so that we could listen more than we speak. Because one of the most powerful ways to spread the gospel or any idea or subject that you want somebody to understand is simply by listening to them. And you do that through being silent. C.S. Lewis said, "When you're silent, you allow yourself to become a better listener and observer. When you're not constantly focused on filling the void with your own words, you create a space for others to express themselves. You give them the opportunity to share their own thoughts, their ideas, and their stories. In doing so, you build a deeper connection with that person." So by speaking less and giving the other person the opportunity to speak more, not only do you understand them better, but as Jesus said in the book of Matthew, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So by listening more, now you have more insight into what's going on in their hearts and their minds through their words. Now you are truly able to use your words to bring clarity and healing into their life because you know what they need to hear and how they need to hear it. So if you truly want somebody to understand you or what you believe in, seek first to understand them and then to be understood. And you do that by speaking less and listening more. Now, in order to listen, you need to be quiet. But one of the biggest reasons we struggle with being quiet in the presence of others is none other than pride. You see, one of the biggest enemies for a Christian or just any human on this planet is pride. As a man once put it, pride is the devil. And we struggle with pride because we lack humility. And we lack humility because we lack wisdom. And one big reason we lack wisdom is because we talk too much and don't know how to be quiet. Not to say that being quiet or silent makes you wise, but it most certainly leads to wisdom. Because when you're quiet, you allow yourself to learn from those who are wise. But in order to learn, you need to listen. But oftentimes, we speak more than we listen because we feel what we have to say is more important than others. And that would be called pride. So the root cause of why we lack wisdom is because of pride. So what is the solution to pride? Humility. Because in humility is wisdom. Proverbs 11:2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with humility comes wisdom. So in order to overcome pride, you need to have wisdom. But in order to have wisdom, you need to have humility. And having humility begins by understanding that you don't know everything and you never will. And the only way to know anything is by learning. And you learn through listening, and listening through being silent. You see, in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, it says, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent. Why is that? Well, it's quite simple. Even if you are a fool, if you speak less, you give yourself less of a chance to say something stupid or foolish, which we all do. But the verse goes a little deeper. You see, when you're silent, you're showing others that you are there to learn and to listen, which is a demonstration of humility. And those who have humility have wisdom. Because as we went over, humility comes with wisdom. So by speaking less, we may just seem more wise in the eyes of others. But we can actually take this verse even deeper. Because if by speaking less, we give ourselves less of a chance to say something stupid or foolish, that could only mean that by speaking more, we give ourselves more of a chance to say something stupid or foolish, leaving the door open for sin. You see, because the book of Proverbs also tells us when there are many words, sin is unavoidable. but the one who controls his lips is wise. So, from reading that verse and all the other verses we went over and breaking them down to understand what they mean, I came to a final conclusion. So, if you don't remember anything from this video, remember this. When you speak too much, you give yourself more of an opportunity to sin and less of an opportunity to learn. And when you speak less, you give yourself less of an opportunity to sin and more of an opportunity to learn. That would explain why James writes in the book of James in the first chapter, "My dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger." Now, I want you to think about that for one moment. If you're quick to listen, then you're going to listen more. And if you're slow to speak, then you're going to speak less. And if you're slow to anger, then you're going to get angry less, meaning you're going to speak less. Because when you're angry, usually you say things that you don't mean, that you later regret. Because you weren't thinking about what you were going to say before you said it. So you spoke out of emotion because you couldn't control your lips, which resulted to you over speaking, which resulted to sin. Proverbs 13:3. Those who control their tongue will have a long life. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. Which is why you should learn to incorporate the power of speaking less and silence into your life. Because sometimes silence speaks louder than words. And you don't need a lot of words to speak when you learn how to let your words speak for you. A wise man once told me some of the most powerful statements in history were made without uttering a single word.